have that program, that designation has two levels, but I got exempted from one of the levels because I have the CFA designation. So then I just had to write level two, and so I did the 6 months of preparation, and then I think in March 2024 I wrote the exam, and then in April I got the result and I passed it, and now I have this second designation.
Oh, congratulations. It happened very recently.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome to Market Curry. This is Shikhar,
I'm Rahul.
and we have our very special guest today, Urmi, who's here with us. Urmi is a CAIA and a CFA.
I think if I start talking, I won't stop before the next 10 or 15 minutes. So I think for me, you are the best person to tell people what you do and how's your experience been in CFA, CIA, and finance in general.
Yes, for sure. So my name is Urmi. I am based in Montreal. I work in the financial sector. I've been in the industry for the past 8 years. And like you mentioned, I do have both the CFA designation and the way I call it the CAIA designation, or the CAIA, which stands for Chartered Alternative Investment Analyst. And my journey with the CFA literally started in 2019. I graduated from a finance degree back in 2016, and I started to work. And while I was working, I was not quite sure like what I wanted to pursue, because I had different things in mind. Like I was like, oh, do I do like an MBA? Do I do like a master in finance? And then there was the CFA.
Mhm.
And back when I was started to work in finance, a lot of people were saying, oh, CFA, it's hard, people don't pass, like it got me so scared. But then at the same time, I like the challenge, and I was like, you know what, I think I can prove to myself that I can do this. And so in 2019, I started my journey with the CFA, and it was delayed because of the pandemic. Because what happened is when I was writing level two, they were basically postponing the exam, I think 2, 3 times. So that delayed a little bit the process. And then in 2023, I finally got the charter. I gave my level three exam in 2023, February. April 2023, I got the results. And when I got the result, it was like the happiest day of my life. I was very like happy. I remember getting the news when I was at work. I didn't want to see the email. Then I told my coworker, "You see it, you let me know if it's good or not." So then I passed the exam. It was a very beautiful moment for me. And then because I enjoy studying a lot and I enjoy studying finance, I told myself, oh, why not do another, designation? And so then I spoke with someone, like I had like a quick coffee chat with a colleague, and he told me about the CAIA designation, the Charter Alternative Investment designation. And he's like, that's a new thing in the industry, alternative investment. It could be, something that you can use and you can add along with the designations that you have. And so I started with that one in October 2023. So they have that program, that designation has two levels, but I got exempted from one of the levels because I have the
Yeah.
CFA designation. So then I just had to write level two, and so I did the 6 months of preparation, and then I think in March 2024 I wrote the exam, and then in April I got the result and I passed it, and now I have this second designation.
Oh, congratulations. It happened very recently.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
One of our friends actually just recently wrote his CFA level 3 and he passed it. So
Nice.
he's just waiting on his charter. So we were really happy for him. He's a really close friend. So I understand the happiness and the joy when you pass an
Yeah.
excellent, certification or professional course like CFA and CAIA, as you say,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you're based in Montreal, Canada. So how is Canada like? I mean, is it good for students to come and study now? Or
Yeah, why not?
I think it's a good
Yeah.
leave, Canada.
It's
That's
a
what
good place. It's a good way. It resembles a little bit Boston, I feel like, because I went to Boston like 2 years ago, or yeah, I think it was last year, 2 years ago. And I felt like in a sense they do like look like each other. And no, I think Montreal is a good place if you wanna, study, pursue, MBAs, or, do your undergraduate. I definitely think it's a good place, and it's a welcoming country, Canada.
right. So,
Yeah.
even 2 years back, I was planning to do a CFA, but then I came across CAIA, and then I also went through the coursework. So, I wanted to understand your perspective. How different do you think it was from CFA?
So here's the thing, both the CFA and the CAIA designation, they're very different, but they also resemble in a lot of the things because the CFA is mainly based on portfolio management. Like you do basically, equity, you learn about fixed income, you learn about the economy, you also learn about alternative investment, but it's more around the same topic, which is portfolio management. And in this CFA program, you have 3 levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. You have to pass all of them. You have to have the required amount of experience, and then you get the charter. The CAIA is more like it has more a niche. It's more about alternative investment. Like it's only just alternative investment. You talk about hedge funds, private equity, real estate. You talk about mainly those things. And but the way it's structured is very much similar to the CFA program because it has 2 levels. And then level 1, it's just multiple choice questions. And level 2, it's multiple choice questions, and then you have essay portion, which is very similar to the level 3 exam of the CFA. And then the way CAIA is also structured is that you have like a series of readings that you have to do, and you have to do those readings. And a lot of the topics do overlap, but not everything. Like there are things that you probably have seen in the CFA program, but not everything because it's so heavily focused on alternative investment and it's very detailed as a program. Like I feel like there was a lot of information that I had to learn. I had to memorize a lot of concepts, a lot of theories, but I feel like the fact that I did have my CFA, it did help me a little bit understand a little bit better everything that I went over with the CAIA program. And it does require like a certain amount of like hours. Like you need to study a lot. I think a lot of people, they think it's easy, but honestly, there's a lot of things that you have to know. And so it does take you a lot of your time.
Excellent. I mean, that sounds good. I really wanted to do the CFA. I haven't been able to think about that as much, but I mean, both of the degrees they seem to be excellent and very relevant to the industry at the moment. And you started with your career with State Street. So how was that? And what was your role about? If you can talk about it a little bit.
Yes, I started my career at the State Street in 2016. And it was basically what happened is I was still in university when I started my career. And I started as an intern. So basically, I was finishing my degree, and then I went to this career fair, and they were looking for people to hire at Station. So I went there. I said, "Oh, look, this is my resume." They called me. They needed an intern. So while I was being an intern, I was also working. I was also studying in university. And then what happened is I finished my degree and I spoke to my manager and I said, look, I need a full-time job. And he basically hired me to be an employee at State Street. And when I was
Sorry, when was this?
in 2016.
Yeah, I can relate to that because this is nothing at the moment. It's so bad that we can't even expect an internship offer as much as an intern.
Yeah, I know the times are different now. Times
Sorry, go ahead.
are
Sorry to
all
cut.
good, all good. And so I started to work at State Street as a client support administrator. So basically, I was doing a lot of like back office stuff. And when I took the job, I just took it because I needed the experience. Like I did not care that, whether it was related to what I wanted to do. I didn't care too much. I just needed the experience. And I knew that, having State Street in my resume would have helped me a lot. And so this is why I took the job and I worked there for 2 years. And it was a great experience because I feel like it just really helped me to get other opportunities afterwards, especially because I feel like State Street, it's a known company in the industry. Everyone knows about State Street. And so that was my experience with State Street. And then later on, I moved to compliance, which was not really what I wanted to do. But I think basically, for a couple of reasons, I had to basically change job. And when I worked in compliance, I feel like it gave me a lot of personal and professional growth that I was not expecting to get. So compliance was my next work experience.
So, are you talking about Maples Group? where you were
Yes.
working. So
Yes.
how was that experience like?
Yes, so I that was the company I work for, Maples Group, which is a company based in Cayman Islands, and they have different divisions like around the world, and one of them is based in Montreal. And basically, I worked as an anti-money laundering analyst. So basically, what we were doing was a lot of KYC, doing a lot of background check on our clients who were, people that had a certain high net worth, and we were just we were making sure that the source of funds was like coming from clean stuff, how they say it. And I did that for 4 years, and I had like a career advancement within the company. Like I started as an analyst, and then I became a senior analyst, and later on I became a supervisor, and I got a lot of growth from it, because this is when I learned a little bit more about how compliance work. And then my company back then was offering also an incentive to study, and this is when I started to pursue my CFA designation, because even though I was working on compliance, I still had my initial goal, which was I want to get my CFA done. I want to work eventually. I want to use this title eventually. And so while I was working at Maples, I studied my CFA designation, and I feel like the company was giving me a good work-life balance. So I was able to work full-time, do a 9 to 5 job, and then I was able to study afterwards for the CFA. And then I also had a lot of mentors within the company. Like I had a lot of internal connections that were helping me to, encouraging me to go with this CFA designation. But the experience at Maples Group has been really great, because I feel like I got a lot of growth, even though compliance was never in my plan. And I feel like now now that I've worked in compliance, I feel like it makes a lot of sense about, why we need compliance in the financial industry.
Yeah. Right. Do you have any fun stories from Maples Group, like somewhere when you had to, when you saw a very big compliance issue, but then the deal went through or the project went through, something like that?
Let me tell you, this is one thing that I learned about compliance, is that it's neither white nor black. It's all gray. That's the thing about compliance. You have rules in place, but everything is at the discretion of the compliance officer. And so I always felt like every time we were dealing with stuff, even though we had a clear answer, it was not always so clear. And we always had to do a lot of enhanced due diligence to make sure that everything was legit. So it was always a lengthy process. And this is where I understood that, everything is it's just gray. We're in the gray zone with compliance.
Yeah, it's always a gray area with compliance.
Yeah.
I think that is where people can use a lot of art as well.
Yeah.
Since it's a gray area.
Yeah. And about art, you did a thesis on wine and art. Is that right?
Yes. This was back when I was in university, and basically I did a finance degree, and I love finance. I always say it's it was love at first sight when I first did a finance course, and because finance back in university was my minor, and my major was international business, and I hated it. I hated international business, and I was like, you know what? Let me switch to finance. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more demand when it comes to finance. And then I took my first finance course, and I remember being in love with it. And I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. And I remember enjoying my finance classes, taking the exams in finance. It was so much fun. Studying finance was so much fun. And then I could see how this was being reflected in my exams. And that's how I got into the honors program in my university. So I extended my my stay in university for 2 extra semesters. And then the last semester we had to write a thesis, and we had to choose a topic. And because I like to do original stuff that are unique, this is how I came up with the idea of how about I write about, art and wine investing. So I wrote a thesis about that. I tried to, understand a little bit about art and wine. Are they good investment? Do they, give you the return that you need? Because the findings were that it's not correlated with the market. So the longer you keep an investment in art or in wine, the better it is for you. And there are also funds that track the prices of wine and art. And so it was a very interesting, topic. So I wrote a thesis about that. Yeah.
Trading wine and art as commodity. That's what it was. I mean, those funds to as it is?
Yeah, they're considered collectibles if they're collectibles, but yeah, it was basically to see are they good investment for to have in your portfolio. It was very fun.
Yeah.
It was a very fun class. Yeah.
And I think Monaco is the place known for art investing.
Which one?
Monaco.
The what?
Monaco.
Monaco.
Yeah.
Monaco, yeah.
Monaco. You know what? For my findings, France and Italy were good places for wine. For art, I remember what I found, but I know France and Italy were good places when it came for wine investing. So,
Right.
I mean, now we talk about CFA and CAIA. What do you think? I think the only thing left for you is becoming the president of the country right now. You don't have any other thing. So what is your plan in the future? And I mean, after that, you can just share your advice to students who are coming to study in Canada or in a place like US.
Here's the thing. I love it. Like, I think you have to find what you really enjoy. And for me, really finance is the thing that I enjoy doing the most. And let me tell you, I still don't stop studying. Like, I buy a lot of finance books, and I also I watch some I always listen to what's happening in the market. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with this professor, Asvarat Damodaran.
Yep.
Yeah, so I used to watch when I was doing my CFA a lot of his lectures, because I think he's the best professor in the world when it comes to finance. And this is the advice that I have the students. Like, honestly, learning does not stop in a classroom. Like, you should always keep learning. And if you find what you enjoy, you should always keep, investing your time in learning. And even now, even the fact that I finished my, these two designation, I'm still doing other designations, like certifications. Yeah, that are more like niche to Canada. I'm doing those ones, more related to portfolio management and wealth management. And that's because I really enjoy studying, and I do think that really helps me with the job that I do. But this is my advice. I think that you should always keep learning. Studying does not end in a classroom. Just because you graduate doesn't mean that you have to stop learning. And every day is a learning opportunity. I think that you can find something to learn from in everything that you do each day. So yeah, that would be my advice.
Right. I had a question about CFA and CIA. So when I started researching, I was too naive to just think that CIA would be the thing. I was not going to do CFA. Then I came across a few resources that mention it's better to have CFA first. So what's your take on that?
I also think it's better to have the CFA first.
And why is that?
I think it's because probably it's been there for a longer time. It's more renowned. Everyone knows about it. Like CAIA, I feel like it's a new thing, but not everyone knows about it. Not yet. CFA, it's like, oh, like when people see that you have the CFA, I feel like they look at you with different eyes. That's the feeling I got. Like, when I first added the 3 letters next to my name, I feel like people were looking at me differently. I feel like people look at you with a bit more respect. And as a woman in finance, I do want to be seen that way. Like, I want people to see me as like someone who knows her stuff. But I do definitely think that if you have to choose between the CFA and CAIA, go with the CFA first, because I feel like it helps you to be prepared for the CIA. Because when you are doing the CFA, it's sort of like you're going on a battlefield. That's how I like to describe it, because you really have to work hard to pass each of the levels, and you're like competing with a lot of people. So it's a lot of work, but I feel like it builds you to become a warrior, and it makes it better for everything else that you're doing afterwards. Like whether you're doing, the CIA or other designations, I think CFA is a good starting point to do other things, because it really makes you that like very capable and strong when it comes to studying and being prepared.
And you get a level off in CAIA if you've done a CFA. So that's the cherry.
That's a thing. That's a good thing about it. You get an exemption from level 1. Yeah.
And do you feel CFA? I mean, it adheres to a greater market. CIA is a niche. CFA is a broader wider market accepted designation that you can work across asset classes, right?
Yeah.
CAIA is a one specific asset class with multiple assets within it, but yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I feel like it's like you said, CFA, it's more like known worldwide, and anyone, can pursue the designation. But I feel like if you have the CFA and then you add the CAIA to it, I feel like you can add like value to yourself. You can show them, oh, I have this other experience, which is more about alternative investment. So it's like an added value, and it shows that you have a deeper knowledge on something else that is not that is covered in the CFA, but not on a deeper level like the CAIA. I feel like it's a competitive advantage.
Right.
Right.
Do you also plan to open a women-led startup sometime in the future?
You know what? I'm a big advocate of women's empowerment, and I do encourage more and more women to pursue a career in finance or to study finance, because finance is very much male dominated, and I want to see more diversity and more representation. Myself being also a woman of color, I am part of different organizations that are dedicated to empowering women. Whether or not I want to create something in the future, I mean, there's an interrogation mark somewhere. I think I wanna, like, right now my goal is to be part of whatever it's already established, to learn from those, and then if eventually I want to do something for women, I will think about it. But for instance, I was part of 100 Women in Finance, which is an organization based in New York, and what they do is that it's a community of women in finance. So they have like students in finance. They also have women who have been working in the industry, and we bring them together. We have like panel discussions, we have conversation mentorship, and it's a great way, to learn from each other. And I feel like being part of those communities, I'm able to empower more and more women. So now I just want to do this, but in the future, if I want to create something, I mean, I will let you know if I do. But this is something that I still don't have it clear in my mind if I want to go towards that.
Right.
Oh, that's excellent, Urmi. And I mean, what do you think the future for a finance student holds up to be possibly in the next 2-3 years? Where do you think the industry is going, especially in Canada?
Yeah, I do think a lot of things are changing. Finance is already a dynamic industry. I feel like a lot has changed, from a work perspective. Like, I never thought that we were going to work from home many years ago, but then it's possible. I also feel like artificial intelligence might have an impact for certain roles, but I think it's also up to us as students to, learn more about it so we can use artificial intelligence for like our advantage. So be sort of like complement each other, complement your knowledge in artificial intelligence with artificial intelligence. But I do think that a lot is changing, and a lot is changing very rapidly. So we just have to, embrace the change. That's what I always say. Like, if you want to succeed, especially when you are working for the first time, always embrace the change and be adaptable, because that's the most important thing. And finance, especially because I've been for so long, I've seen how things has changed. And sometimes, some jobs are like outsourced in other parts of the world. Be okay with that, but be able to adjust yourself accordingly.
I think that's a really good point. AI, we talk about AI almost every day.
Yep.
Yeah, it's scary. Honestly, it's scary, but you have to know how to learn from it and see if you can use it at your own advantage. Yeah.
Right. I think that's it from my side. Do you have
Yeah.
any-
I mean, it was a pleasure speaking to
Yeah.
you, Urmi. I mean, thank you so much, and kudos to you. You've done so well in a career trajectory, and all the best for your future plans. I'm sure that people will find value in what you've shared, and possibly will feel motivated, especially women in finance, and if they want to do certifications like you've done. It's just commendable. So
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time out. And when I was going through your LinkedIn, I saw the same things. Like, you have been very active in the women-led finance spaces, and I
Yeah.
think it's going great. And you should just keep going with it.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Thanks. Well, thank you for your time as well.
Thanks, Urmi.